Okay, we left off. I reorganized and looked at my piece. I had it smoothed down, but I had to cut it up to make the neck fit in to where I wanted to be. If I have it on my side right here the whole time, it's going to flatten down and it's not going to be any good. So I have to look at it three-dimensional, and I have to work on creating the necks and putting together three-dimensional. So I'm going to start by looking at the face and having it kind of angled and working it. How many people actually brought in a three-dimensional piece to work from? Anybody yet? I know a few of you possibly could. They're out there. Some picked some characters and people maybe you want to switch it to. But now we can go from those visual references instead of our drawings. I'm really looking for my guy, and I'm just going to cut it down the middle and map it out. I'm going to map out a nose, a face, and an ear, and a jawline a little bit more. So after you have it smoothed down, you need to go over the top and equal it out all the way through. I did this to help smooth and line it up, and I'm going to do it how to map my face out too. I'm doing my best to get one side, map it out. I'm going to go through the back of my head and through the side of my ears and try to come up and find that mark in half. Not from the top, or from the top, as well as pulling that line right down here toward the middle. I'm going to take it all the way through because I'm going to use every part of it. I'm also going to do that from this side right here. I'm going to mark down as best I can even and mark it. Also, I sprayed my clay every day so it lasted. That's why it's still wet and workable, and I'm 4 or 5 days later. I'm not going to worry about that side right now because I'm not doing it. I'm only going to work on this section and this section back here. If I looked at it now, I can find and pick a jawline. It's going to switch a lot from what I had going on. I'm going to follow the jawline and then the nose and then the eye. Nice thing about the faces and people that picked faces, usually from the top of the forehead all the way to the middle of their face is usually where the bottom of your nose is going to be. I'm going to justify and do it a little bit lower by my guessing of where it's at. And then I'm going to move my jawline and know that halfway through or a quarter of my face could be where my lips or my mouth are going to happen. I can map that out. I'm going to go through and cut the eyes in the same kind of quarter motion. And for me, because I have all this hair, it looks like there's more on top, so I have more hair. So I'm marking that straight across. Well, that helps me visually in the front, but it does not help me from my side, so I'm going to pull all my lines all the way through as well as best I can, so I can use these as measuring points of where to go. I'm moving these measuring points over here, like so. It's going to map all the way around. Now I get that same idea as what's going to switch through. I know that bump's going to change a whole lot because I have hair, but I have it there still to work ideas in. Now, a nice place to start with is with the eye sockets. I know some people want to jump right away. I'm going to have to pull the eye socket back, but not enough that it doesn't flatten off. As well, I'll go with the chin mark. So I'm going to map that out right now on my face. I'm looking at this guy. He's got the socket with the nose going in. So partially with the nose right here, the socket goes in here. But I have a cheek part that comes out a lot. So I'm going to mark where my cheek happens, which is right here. Out the top part right this way. But I'm also going to mark where the cheek happens from the side. And when I look at the cheek, that happens where my socket's going to go in a little bit. Probably back here, my cheek's going to happen right about here at this bump. So now I have a mark right here in front where the cheek's going to be highest point, and I have a mark right here where I think the cheek's going to come to the highest point. I have to bring the two together. I can carve or move them together, but I can cut off or scrape it to get them to about the same point looking. So now my face is starting to curve a little bit more round so that I can look for the cheek. I knew it was right here that I had to bend it over a little bit and start bending it to that spot. Now this cheek is starting to come round. Alright, I want this the high point. This lower part of the cheek is going to go into the jawline. I can mark that off if I wanted to as well. If I looked at it, I kind of had it set up right here before. You can see it. Now it's the bottom of my nose. That can stay. This part has to go into the jaw. I can look from the front. The jawline's pretty sharp. And then flows back to my jaw. So from here to this mark line here in the front to here, I need to skinny up. It's not going to be as round. So I can go through, I can scrape that as well. I don't want to go too much right there because I have that cheek point happening. So I'm going to go back right here and try to skinny it up and go through until I get that to look like the shape I want to have. I have a lot more work I can do on both of these, but it's just started. I'm going to go back to that socket now. Look at this point where I wanted to have it. From the side, I need a forehead part to happen, for it to happen, show. So I'm going to go right here at the top it was. I need that forehead line. Well, I'm going to go back into here, and now bring that line over. I'm going to take that part out or push it in. Or I know this part I want to have up, and I'm going to cut back a little bit to where the hair is going to go and have it set up. I got to think about those decisions. Here's my eye coming over the top, my socket pushing in. I want to have this go back. So I'm going to keep this point and push backward just a little bit right here. I had some room, like so. My socket is right here. I can use a spoon, a fork, or a finger, and I can start pushing the socket. So I get a little bit of the nose to come too. I don't want to take too much. I'm going to come around here. Now I'm going to map where the bottom of my socket happens. It comes down to this line of the cheek right here, and this is a good spot. So I'm going to take this socket down equal to where the outside happens right here. So I got to make this point and this point be the same. I want to make this point right here and this point be the same way I did that, but I want it to be in closer as I look. So I'm going to actually push down a little bit and have it meet each other right there. So that's probably where the edge of my face is going to be. It's going to slowly go back to the jaw, and the cheek line is going to come back here, and I'm going to have the ear. And so the forehead's actually going to come over the top right there. And that's where you can see that forehead eye part. Let's see if you can see that right there. Focus it a little bit more. There we go. See that cheek part right there, the eyes? I'm pushing that in there right there at that point. Alright, that's what this point is right here. And I'm pushing. I mapped it from both sides, and now I'm having that happen. So those are all different points, a way to look at how to map.